What's going on, everybody? This is the UGASports Call-in Show hosted by Paul Maharry, who is myself, and Jason Butt. And then we've got good old Jed May joining us. If you're wondering where Ben Choppy Bachman is, folks, well, let's just say he got hungover last night at 1 a.m. And then now at 8 p.m. the next day, he still can't make it. So must be a hell of a hangover. We got Jason Butt looking like Tiger Woods down there. We got Jed May. I mean, everybody's just having a good time today, folks. So if you're wondering where Ben Choppy Bachman is, he's on an 18-hour hangover. So next time he's on the show, guys, make sure to give him some hell. Guys, if you're watching this for the first time or the 50th time, you know the drill. You can join the conversation by hitting it in the description of the YouTube video or the Facebook video. Hit that link. It'll bring you into our waiting room, and I will bring you in. You can either join with your face or not, just voice only, and we'd love to take your questions. And also, if you're watching us for the first time or the 50th time, go ahead and comment where you're watching us from. We'll shout it out on the show live. We've already got a couple folks joining us. Thomas T-Bone says, go Dogs. Legend Gamer Plays says, hi, what's up? Hi. And then Darius Jackson says, hello, guys, go Dogs. Speaking of go Dogs, seems like the Dogs had another interesting weekend. Jed May, Georgia finally completed the flip of Raylan Wilson, which we thought was going to happen for quite some time now. I think I actually got a prediction right on that. Hopefully I put it in. But looks like Georgia's linebacker core again is stacking up to be one of the best in the nation.
Yeah, for those who missed it, Raylan Wilson committed to Georgia about 2 o'clock this afternoon. He's a guy who he had Georgia and Michigan in his top two last December, chose Michigan. Glenn Schumann stayed after him. He visited his school in January. Wilson came to Athens for a weekend, I think in March, the big recruiting weekend in March, took it official first weekend in June. And then he decommitted from Michigan, I want to say like a week and a half ago. And so once that happened, we already kind of thought he was going to flip anyway. But then once he decommitted from Michigan, you're kind of like, it's a matter of if, not when. And sure enough, today he pulled the trigger. So now he joins C.J. Allen in what's already a really talented inside linebacker class. Then you got Troy Bowles, who's committing this coming up Saturday. So Georgia could go 3 for 3 on its top targets there and have, I mean, I find it hard to believe there would be a better inside linebacker group in the country when you look specifically at that 2023 class if Georgia lands all three of those guys.
Wayne Smith down there from Jacksonville, Florida says, what's up, go Dogs? And then Michael Rowan up in Lumpkin County, Georgia. And D. Jacob Watson says, go Dogs. Jason, you're wearing the red and black today. Where'd you head off to?
So we all know Brandon Sudge. He came up to visit because the Orioles were playing, being in the DMV, the Orioles were playing the Angels. He actually grew up with Brandon Marsh at Buford High School. And so he came in, I met up with him, and I was supporting the Angels. Funny story. So yesterday we went to the game. Today we went. Marsh was pulled. He did not play. He was not in. So we went to the casino.
Nice.
Had a great time.
Yeah, I mean, if you're up there to watch your boy play and he's not there, then yeah, get on out of there and go to the casino. That's where we'll be next weekend, guys. So just so you know, the show will not be here. Roddy's taking the crew down to New Orleans for a little bit of fun. So we will not have a Sunday night show next week. I know you guys are so disappointed in that. But Scott Anderson says, go Dogs from Pooler, Georgia. Guys, tonight is really what your guys' thoughts are, what you want to talk about, because as of right now, we've talked about Raylan Wilson. I want to get into a little bit more of the NIL, kind of how Miami has come on so strong here recently and what that entails. I want to ask Jed a little bit about that as well, because seeing how he is now a national analyst, folks. He is not just with us here at UGA Sports. He's a big timer. So I want to figure out a little bit more dive into guys committing so early, because to me, it seems like, if you look at the kind of timeline, we're early July, and a lot of the Rivals top 250 kids are already committed. A lot of those kids probably already have silent NIL deals, something along those lines. So now with NIL involved, how do you flip a kid? Because it used to be you had, I don't know, 15 or 20 kids you were still going after pretty hard in December, especially with the early signing period. Now it seems like if you don't get a spot, then where do you go?
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, it's going to be interesting too. Do you see could there be kids more likely to flip if you think you're going to get an NIL deal and then you get closer to signing day and you're like, yeah, like promises, not so much. I mean, it's such an unknown because this is, I mean, last year had NIL involved a little bit, but it was still 6 months into it or whatever when it got legalized. So when you've got this class with a full cycle of it and these kids have had to deal with it for a couple years, it's going to be so interesting to see how it plays out into December, when kids sign. I mean, no one really knows. That's what every day we talk about. No one knows. Look at Texas A&M. No one knows if Jimbo Fisher's going to build a dynasty with these recruits or if they're going to get on campus and there's going to be serious team chemistry issues and they fall apart. I mean, no one knows. Or it could be somewhere in the middle. Like there's such a huge unknown going on right now that no one knows how all this stuff is going to play out.
It's just interesting to me because I'm scrolling through the top 50 right here. And I mean, just based off of my terrible math, probably 70% of these kids are committed already. And that's pretty high for right now, Jason. Do you see a scenario where, like, I guess the only way you can beat another team, and if they have an NIL deal, which not all these kids do, but most of them do, right? Secretly or what have you, is you're just going to have to up your NIL deal later on. Is that maybe what Kirby's playing, like a long game in this scenario? Or Nick Saban, like, are those guys playing this long game to where we'll flip them at the end? Or I'm just curious, like what?
Yeah,
what's
I think NIL comes into play. I know Kirby's been on the record saying he's not going after guys with NIL as the number one factor. I believe him, but then at the end of the day, when it comes to flipping guys at the end, yeah, of course they're going to use that as a resource if they've exhausted whatever it is that's been at their disposal to try and get them to come to Georgia for the other reasons they want. Using Trayvon Walker as an example, like, hey, you don't have to start right away and still become a number one overall draft pick. At the end of the day, though, I mean, that, as we've talked about before, the Classic City Collective is a great example of Georgia using those resources and wanting to set something up so that they can be competitive with these other institutions, Texas A&M, Florida, being Miami, of course, being good examples of schools that have set up collectives. Florida, I mentioned, which is funny because we talked just last week about how poorly their recruiting is going, even though it seems like the resources are there in place for them not to be off to such a bad start under Billy Napier. But I think when it comes to NIL, you mentioned all these kids that are committing a little earlier. I think if you're an athlete in this era of NIL, I would actually think you would want to commit earlier because it puts it gives you that much more leverage or that much more power in having these other schools, just like you said, upping the ante or coming up with better scenarios NIL wise to try and flip you. Because, if everything's open, it's on the table, you're going all the way to signing day without committing. I just don't think that maybe that side of the equation is going to factor in maybe as much as it would. I think, just me personally thinking, like, if you are coming in, somebody's committed, it seems like they're firm, what will it take to get you off of them? And so, yeah, I think that's definitely a scenario that I see playing out right now, and one reason why you're seeing so many kids committed already.
I wanted to get this right for Michael Rowan. He said Lumpkin, Georgia, the town. Where is that? I thought it was just Lumpkin County.
There is a Lumpkin, Georgia.
Michael, tell us where that's at, man. Tell us where that's at in the comments. I don't know. Darris Sr. Is this Go Dogs from Baxley? Is this Darris' dad? It's got to be, right? From Baxley, Georgia? If this is Darris' dad, call into the show. We want to talk to you about Darris, how he's doing. Yeah, this has got to be Darris. There's no way.
Now, go ahead. While we're waiting on the Elder Smith to come in, Jason, like you said something about, the Classic City Collective and Georgia using those resources. I think people get confused, or not maybe confused, but like Georgia not using NIL as the main part of its pitch isn't the same as Georgia not using NIL at all. Like, I think some people think Georgia just Kirby Smart pretends NIL doesn't exist and all that kind of stuff. No, it's emphasized. You talk to recruits. Oh yeah, Georgia mentions NIL, and downtown Athens has a lot of opportunities. It's just not the focal point of the pitch. And we've heard Kirby Smart say it even in press conferences, like there's more zeros on these NFL contracts than there are on NIL contracts, especially when you see what Georgia guys have done. A lot of it is Jordan Davis got that law firm, or Zaxby's, the JT Dance, stuff like that. So it's used by Georgia. It's not neglected or whatever. It's just not emphasized as heavily as it kind of seems like some of these other schools emphasize it.
I wonder though if that's gonna flip. See, because Kirby's always playing chess. He's not playing checkers, guys. Like he knows Kirby's a really good recruiter. And I think that the board over at UGAsports.com, the Vault, has come to realize that, because we had a comment right here. I want to find it. Let's see. Mike Madden says 2023 is still looking a little lean, guys. It is right now. I mean, Georgia's technically an 11th ranked team, which coming off a national championship, you'd think it'd be a little bit higher. But is Kirby playing chess right here, not checkers? Is he's waiting on some of these guys to see where their NIL deals fall into place? And it's like, all right, you got X, Y, and Z. Well, why don't we give you X, Y, Z plus? And then you get that baseline. So you're not the first. It's almost like you're not the first offer, if that makes sense. Darris Sr. says it is indeed him. Darris, Mr. Smith, go into the description, copy the link, and get onto the show with us. I promise you, I'll bring you on. We want to talk to you, see how your son's doing, and you know, he should be back in campus soon. See how everything's going. Let's see. Darius Jackson says, do coaches have control on who gets NIL deals? Jason, you talked to Classic City Collective.
Yeah.
What
do
with that?
The coaches can talk to the collective. So Matt Hibbs, he runs the Classic City Collective. Coaches, Matt Hibbs, Kirby. So Matt Hibbs, who runs the Classic City Collective, he used to work for UGA. He was formerly the football compliance guy. He and Kirby Smart, Josh Brooks, they have a great relationship. The whole idea of him coming back, he had left, actually was working at Barstool Sports for a little bit in their NIL division, and he came back to start this Classic City Collective, which is in coordination but not an arm. It's not owned by the university. It's not financially tied. But the rules stipulate that they are allowed to communicate with the coaches. They can communicate with the players. It's not university money. So to answer your question, yes, there is. And one example Matt Hibbs gave was, say there's a player who Kirby Smart says, hey, this guy, his stipend, the money that they do get from the NCAA, or not from the NCAA, I'm sorry, but they do get from the university, allowed by the NCAA, their cost of living money, if that gets sent home, for instance, or if there's a previous NIL deal that they have to send home, and so they don't really have that extra money, that extra cash on hand, Matt Hibbs can then kind of, okay, he gets that information, he contacts that player, hey, I got this for you, you want to sign this contract, we can get you this deal with your name, image, likeness, and set you up that way. So there's definitely that communication that exists. And I mean, I wouldn't say it's necessarily like Kirby saying like, you do this, you do this, you do this, or anything like that. But yeah, in essence, yeah, like there's no control, there's no punishment. I shouldn't say there's no like punishment, there's no favoritism. I should put it like that. But there are scenarios where, yeah, Kirby can go to the collective or whomever. It's not just the collective doing NIL deals. I mean, anybody can do one. They just prefer it to be through the collective so that they can collect data and use it for recruiting. But yeah, they can use that. They can use those tools and make sure guys are able to participate in the NIL process for sure.
And folks that are still trying to wrap their heads around this NIL thing, I am too. So you're not alone. It is still very new to all of us. Jason had a great explanation there. Yes, Kirby can talk to Matt Hibbs, give direction on where the money should go from that Classic City Collective. There's also other collectives. There's also other brands there's also other agents that guys can just sign with and do brand deals with as well if you're a big-time athlete. So it's going to be interesting to really kind of follow this whole NIL thing. And the reason I brought it up was because Miami is just going full guns blazing, all steam ahead for their recruiting class this year. And it's interesting to me, right? Because you have a first-year head coach, Mario Cristobal, and I'm not saying Miami's 12th right now. They're behind Georgia, but they've been picking up some steam. They've got Francis, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Muago, Jed, the offensive lineman. Then they just got Jaden Wayne, the 5-star. I mean, they're picking up steam as we're kind of going through this whole thing. And that's one team that you can look at and say, okay, well, how are they doing NIL and what's different? So that's why I brought up the NIL thing. Another thing I want to touch on is also conference realignment too, because we talked about it a little. Didn't we talk about it a little bit last week? I think neither one of you were on the show.
Yeah, no. Probably. So, yeah. I mean, it happened last week.
I think we did. But Coach Donnan had a really good point where he brought up the 4 schools that he thinks should be entering into the SEC pretty soon. And if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Miami was on one of those 4. And now they are up in their recruiting. So I'm just curious to see your guys' thoughts on, because we didn't get to talk about it last week with either one of you, this whole conference realignment thing. And does it have any effect on recruiting? Does it have any effect on Georgia football at all? Like what's the synopsis that you guys are feeling?
I don't know, man. It's like, I don't know if scary is the right word, but like, it might be because it's just so, I mean, okay, I'm 25, right? So I've watched college football for 20 years since I was 5. And the whole time it's been, okay, these Pac-12 schools play out here. And like the Southeast, like Texas A&M, Missouri Red, it's like, yeah, okay. I mean, that kind of makes, maybe not Missouri, but A&M kind of makes sense. Nebraska goes to the Big 10. I'm not old enough to remember their glory days in the Big 12 and the Big 8. So like, okay, that's fine. Colorado moves. Colorado hadn't been relevant in a while, but now you've got Texas and Oklahoma moving, and now you've got USC and UCLA moving, and now you've got, like Coach John was talking about, you got Miami and maybe Clemson moving. Like, so much is happening so fast, and you wonder, like, as if the NIL wasn't enough already, like, right, of man, what is college football going to look like in 3 or 4 years when this happens? Now you've got conference realignment where, okay, do rivalries matter? I mean, we already knew that they didn't really matter, but like, I don't know. And then you start talking about the whole splitting into an upper tier and a lower tier of college football. Well, I mean, I like, no one cares about my opinion, but like, I like it the way it is. Like, okay, what's one of the greatest football games of all time, right? Boise State and Oklahoma in that Fiesta Bowl. Yeah. Boise State and Oklahoma play in a Fiesta Bowl in 5 years if we split into separate divisions. Like, does say Kansas gets left behind in terms of a football division? Do they go on that magical 07 run when they're ranked number 2 in the country, or Boston College? Like, I don't know. Change is scary. And I feel like, I don't know. It's really interesting to see what it's going to look like. Because people say, you know, you see on Twitter all the time, oh, people have said that the forward pass would kill college football, right? And conference would kill it, and the BCS would kill college football, and the playoff would kill college football. And it's all fine, and it all kind of seems to come back in the end to all these changes get talked about all offseason, and then Labor Day weekend comes around, and all the games are on the field, and it's all good. And college football is weird and all that kind of stuff. But this just seems different. Like, this seems like we're really heading for a radical shift, split, like, I don't know what you want to call it, that's really going to alter things. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to love college football forever. That's why I have the job that I have, other than Roddy being stupid enough to give me a chance. And I don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like. And not necessarily the change is what's scary, but the uncertainty. Because like I said before, it was so certain. Okay, the season ends January 10th every year. You have the off season where you recruit and you go through summer camp and you get your Lindy's magazine and whatever, and it starts again. And now there's so much uncertainty with what it's going to look like, even next fall, right? Even 2023 fall.
Yeah.
And it's unsettling is a better word than scared, probably, because it's just what has been so certain in college football for a long time. Nothing's certain anymore. I mean, nobody knows what will or will not happen.
Jason?
Yeah, I just feel like this is one step closer to football, at least the major programs breaking away from the NCAA. I think the NCAA will continue to exist. I think the NCAA will be the governing body for some football and a lot of basketball and all of basketball and all of baseball, and go down the list of what it governs. There's obviously some things or some sports. I think at UGA, your varsity sport, that first varsity sport that comes to mind that's not governed by the NCAA is equestrian. I think football ends up at the highest level breaking away. I just don't see a scenario long. Now, I'm not saying in like 4 or 5 years. I just don't see a scenario long term with the money that's coming into major college football that the haves continue to operate with the have-nots. Like, I think you're going to see a complete break at some point. There's going to be more money that pours into those institutions. They have their own body. They still are tied to the athletic programs. I don't think that college football – I think college football will end up at that level, will almost be a factory for a minor league de facto factory, but at the same time still have the college ties. There's just too much – at the end of the day, there's just too much investment from the major donors who pay for the sport at each institution for it to just die. So I do think that it will maintain collegiate ties, but the one guy who screwed up everything with the NCAA keeping control for years and years and years was Mark Emmert, maybe the worst.
You roast this guy every chance you
get.
Yeah,
I know. I need to stop. I need to give the guy a break. But honestly, we're talking about it again. Like, this guy did nothing to keep up with the changing tides over the last decade, and he has put the NCAA in such a terrible position. Now you look at it, I think that, and here's the thing: if everything, the NCAA was going to fold and you were just going to start from scratch, it would have happened already by now. There's definitely a major there's a need for the NCAA, and I don't think these institutions want it to go away. And I think every big time program will maintain its ties. I just see football. I just don't see football staying long term. I could be wrong. That's just my thought here on whatever day today is. July 10th, 2022. That's my belief right now, is that there'll be some other governing body. You have maybe your 40, 50 big-time programs. You welcome them in, and you start from there. Maybe other programs over time leave the NCAA. But that's just kind of how I see that in the long term, maybe in the next decade, maybe in the next 20 years.
We've got a caller here. Andy, what's going on, man?
Yo, what's up? I'm from Denmark.
Denmark? Okay.
Yes,
you big college football guy?
No. Well, I like football too, but like I don't know. Like, I like sport. I don't really know what you guys are about. Like, you guys look like golfers.
Oh yeah. I mean, we do try to play golf. Yeah, we do try to play golf.
I watched the Scottish Open today. Does that count?
Do you know Tour de France?
What was that?
Tour de France.
Tour de France. Yeah.
It was in my city 2 weeks ago. I filmed and live streamed it on YouTube.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was crazy. Cool. World biggest bikeways, you know?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. I appreciate you watching from Denmark. Hopefully you can learn a little bit about Georgia football, Georgia Bulldogs football.
Absolutely. Like, do you watch Danish football?
I don't.
Christian Eriksen.
Yeah. I know about Eriksen. Yeah.
You know, he tossed that wide in the air. It's a miss every time, but he's okay. He got a heart attack last time he touched the ball.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, it was terrible in the EM. God
all right, Andy. Well, we'll holler at you, man. You never know what's going to show up, guys.
I love it. That's awesome.
You never know what you're going to get, guys. God, man, this happens to me all the time. It just throws me off, guys. Darris Senior says I'm too shy, guys. Darris, you don't have to turn your camera on. You can just call in without your camera. This guy just talked to us from Denmark about soccer and a guy having a heart attack. I don't know what's going on, man.
Listen, man, if Darris Senior's too shy, I'll take this moment to brag on his son, because I've done this enough on Rumors versus Facts. I need to move it over here too. I think Darris Smith is like, and I don't just say this because his dad is on the air, because you can ask Blaine and Trent. I'll say this on Rumors versus Facts all the time. Darris Smith has a huge I do. They told me to shut up about it. Darris Smith has a huge, like, I think he might have the highest ceiling or upside of the guys in this class. That's saying something, because you got 2 5-stars in Michael Williams and Marvin Jones, but just the raw length and athleticism and just freakiness he has is amazing. Like, he can dunk. He's 6'6", I think. He's probably about 220, 225. Like, he's just, you can't.
Leonard Floyd like?
Yes, Leonard Floyd like, Adam Anderson like he he's got so much. And the thing is, he has the time to, like, I don't know how much he'll play year one just because he is a little bit on the raw side. But by the time that, say, redshirt freshman year comes around, 23, he could be a guy that comes out of nowhere that just blows people away. I mean, I really think, because I watched him play a game last year against Tift County, which is, not a joke of a school by any means. And he just dominated. He was the best player on the field. Had a strip fumble to steal the game at the end. He had a few sacks. Plays receiver, tight end for him too. I mean, he's a great athlete. So I think molded by Chidera Uzo-Diribe for a year and a half for 2023, he could be a guy that has a really huge breakout season next fall, especially with Nolan Smith and Robert Beal gone after this year.
Yeah. You I don't know how much Darris paid you for that, but that's good. Good. No, I agree though. I think he is very raw, but I think at the same time, very Leonard Floyd like. Fred F says, Paul, Jed, Jason checking in from West Palm, Florida, and then he gave us a laughing emojis. To be honest with you, I don't know how we get this. Our man Andy, what he said, I gave a like and a sub. Thanks for having me on the show. I don't know how you stumble across this and then call in. Like, we've had it multiple times. It's just weird to me.
We're just that charismatic, Paul. That's all there is.
You think that's what it is? They just want to talk to me?
Yeah, man, they want to talk to you. You know, you're spitting all the good stuff, and they're just like, you know what? I may not know about Georgia football, but I'm gonna give this guy a call.
Hey, Paul, give a shout out to my guy JR down here.
I am. I was just about
Bowman, GA, right down the road from where I'm from.
Yeah,
got a great little grocery store, Ray's down there. Good
Granite
stuff.
Bowl. The Granite Bowl's down there.
Granite Bowl's in Overton. It's close, but
isn't that where
next time?
Miko is from Elberton or Elbert County?
It is.
Well, it's technically from Bowman.
Bowman's like,
okay.
Bowman's a little bitty. It's like what you would think, like one red light in the center of town. There's one little restaurant on the other side of the red light. There's a gas station slash grocery store. But they actually have a sign there now that says "Home of Mecole Hardman" right in the center of town.
Oh, that's cool.
It's weird because they got him in a Georgia jersey, but they don't have a Chiefs picture on there yet. So we got to get that up.
You just don't like the NFL, you know? It's the South.
I guess.
Francisco says, finally catching a live show. I'm in Bozeman, Montana. I listen to the podcast all the time. Go Dogs, man. We appreciate that.
Awesome.
We appreciate that. Reaching out to Bozeman, Montana.
One more month before snow in Bozeman. So make use of the good weather while you can.
Yeah, just shit all over his parade. Why don't you, Jed? This guy's trying to have a great summer. You tell him, hey, one more month until you're stuck in the house for the rest of the year. So, have fun, Francisco. Thanks for watching the show. One more month, though, until you're really screwed, bud.
I didn't say snow was bad. I like snow.
No,
I'd like it less if I was in Montana, probably, but snow's cool.
Our man Brett said he searched football on YouTube. Well, that makes sense. I guess. I don't know. It's weird, Brett. Brett, you always comment, but you don't call into the show. Why is that? It's like the Brian Windhorst thing. It's like, why is that?
Is that what that is? I didn't watch the segment, but I've seen this.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
He was like, the Nets and the Jazz made a trade that nobody would know about. Why is that? So Brett, you're always commenting, but you never call in. Why is that? Let's see if I think we've got Darris Sr. in here, but he's got to connect his mic. So we'll get him in here hopefully in just a second. Let's see here. Antoine Simpson says, what's up, Darris Sr.? Good to see you on. I was watching on my Roku, had to switch over. Well, Darris, you got to turn your mic on for us to get you on, my man, and we will definitely talk to you. We Jack's Dogs are wanting to know how Slime Singletary's doing. I got a bunch of friends in Jacksonville, Phil Rogers. They're over on the, I think, east side of town, I think. But we will not know too much about Slime until practice starts next month.
Where's number 9? He posted that on Instagram. He's wearing number 9.
Slime 9. Can you rhyme with that? Slime 9? 9 Slime?
Is it Slime or Slim, Paul? I think it's Slim.
Oh, it is Slim. Oh, my God. It is Slim.
You can't read.
Yeah, it is Slim.
I was actually, I didn't know, and I just assumed, was like, well, he must have left the E off, but no, you just can't read.
The games I saw him play, I think I saw him play twice last year, and he looked good. He looked great both games I watched him play. Really natural. He moves really well.
Brett said he's not much of a talker. I get it, Brett. I'm just giving you a hard time. I just really want to do why is that? thing. So you're good. Francisco says we have until late October, Jed, you asshole, until the Southern boys. Don't go.
Hey, listen, I will say this. Does anyone remember a few years ago when it was the week 0 college football game, and it was like Montana? Someone played at Montana, like North Dakota State, or somebody played at Montana University. It was an electric environment there. Like Montana, I don't know.
It was an electric.
Montana, they're usually pretty good at the FCS.
Montana and Montana State, I think.
Yeah,
it was really good.
State. And they I remember the Falcons just drafted.
They did.
Montana. It was Montana, right? Not Montana State.
It was Montana State.
Montana. Okay, it was Montana State. Okay.
Last name was Sam.
Yeah.
Anderson.
Troy Anderson.
Troy Anderson. Yeah. He's supposed to be off the charts athletically, allegedly. We'll see.
Yeah. Phil Rogers says, "Guys, I am 70 years old." There we go, Phil.
That's great. Congrats.
Watching this from Texas, Nick Purifoy. What's up, man? He says he's a big Dogs fan. Curious on how you all believe the inside linebacker and safety rotation works out this year. Jason, I'm going to let you take this because I don't have a clue.
Yeah, I don't really know either. You've got
Dan Jackson's going to be there. I know that.
What was it? Small Munden. I mean, I think he's going to – I think right now I'd give him the lead at take over for Nakobe Dean. That's just who I think. I think you've got,
Dumas Johnson. You got Pop.
Yeah, but you have guys. I think you're going to have a good. You're going to have maybe the first couple of weeks. I think you're going to see it. Feeling it out. Christopher Smith at safety. That's a no-brainer.
Tyke Smith, man, I've been hyping this guy up for a while.
Yeah, and Tyke Smith. I think they have options when it comes to who they really want at nickel, right? Because Tyke Smith, if they want him at nickel. They have a decision to make it safety. No matter what, I think you'll see a package with Dan Jackson. I do not expect him to be starting. I know some of these people, just because he's not a scholarship player, they don't want to see him on the field. But I
think
he'll play.
You think he starts, Jed?
Dan Jackson? No. I'm not saying he starts. I'm just saying.
I'm asking Jed. Do you think Dan Jackson starts?
I mean, it kind of goes back to what you said, Paul. Like, do they want Dan Jackson at safety and Tyke Smith at star? Or do they want Tyke Smith at star or Tyke Smith at safety and Javon Bullard at star? Or
you've still got William Poole too.
Still got William Poole. Yeah, I mean, where's Georgia?
He can play everything at this point.
Yeah, I mean, does Georgia win the? I mean, everyone forgets in the Keely Ringo, the pick six and all that. William Poole had a perfectly played third down breakup on the Alabama drive before that. You could not. And everyone kind of made jokes about it after the first Alabama game. I was like, "Oh, we put William Poole in."
William Poole he got blasted in the first.
He had a fantastic game, or at least that play itself was huge in that national championship.
All right, here we go. Just because we're a little bit out, yes or no, Dan Jackson starting. We'll come back to it. And when the season opener against Oregon, does Dan Jackson start in the secondary? Yes or no from both of you?
No.
I say no.
I'm gonna say yes.
Would I be shocked if he did? No, but I say no.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say old Dan Jackson gets the start. I don't know if he plays that much, but I think he gets the start.
He's gonna play a lot if he starts, but he's gonna play. He's gonna factor in. Don't get me wrong.
Just saying. I think he starts. We're going through.
Tell the story. I just want to put that out there. I know people they get all bent out of shape about scholarships and stars. If Kirby Smart trusts you to be on the football field, you're a good football player. He doesn't put guys out there just for the hell of it or for a good story and all that nonsense that people.
Didn't Mark Richt used to do that though? If we're being honest,
on special teams, I would lean toward that, but no, these guys don't do that. I'll say that when John Travers was the special teams coordinator at Georgia, or coach, they didn't really have a coordinator. So when he was running the special teams units, man, they used to have guys that had no business being on the football field. And I remember being at the Red and Black, and it was very much at that point. It was like, well, we like these walk-ons because they care more about the game than the scholarship guys, and that's just the biggest bunch of crap. Like when Kirby came, he saw the special teams units filled with scholarship guys, and they tried just as hard. Give me a break.
Looking up Dan Jackson here, guys. Redshirt in 2019, member of the scout team 2020, and then 2021 played in all 15 games with 4 starts against Kentucky, CSU, Georgia Tech, and Bama. That's finished with 40 tackles. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
His story is incredible. I mean, this is like did he even have a profile coming out of high school? Like,
I don't think so. No.
Part is like, think back to G-Day last year, and Darnell Washington Wright has that huge catch. And tips on Dan Jackson into the earth. And at the time, we're like, poor Dan Jackson. Like, this poor guy, he's just here for depth. He's got no business like trying to tackle Darnell Washington. And then like he's literally starting in a national championship or whichever Alabama game he started. Like, it's not quite championship story level great, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a profile for Dan Jackson.
Yeah, I remember talking to his high school coach it would have been last spring, and he was just he could have gone, I want to say like maybe a like shorter or a college. Yeah. I don't think it was shorter, but it was like a college like that. Those were the only programs that were like offering any kind of financial aid for the guy, and he ended up somehow just getting a walk-on spot at Georgia. I mean, that's crazy. Like, you don't see that at this level of football. You don't see that, and especially on a national championship team. It's one thing to have this happen. If it was like Kansas State or Missouri or a mid-tier Power 5 school, but I mean at Georgia, like. Kudos to the walk-on program to be able to find a guy like him. Hell, Stetson Bennett, too, for that matter, 15 years ago, whenever it was that he showed up.
Carlos Folsom says, Tresman Marshall, Pop, Munden, Ryan, and Walker will all play at middle linebacker. He's saying Marshall and Pop are the starters game 1. I don't Tresman Marshall had a very good G-Day. I don't know, though. I don't know. I think Munden athletic. I don't know if you can have Pop and Marshall on the field at the same time. So it makes sense. They're both kind of the same linebacker to me.
Here's the question: like Marshall and Ryan Davis, they're more experienced, but they're also they've been injured a lot. So do you go with the experienced guys that at least know the defense a little bit more, or does the athleticism of a Smile Munden win out? Because like Trezor Marshall and Ryan Davis haven't gotten a lot of at least first team game experience. So how does that weigh in? Like, that's going to be a competition that's going to go through all fall camp probably. And then you look at Jalen Walker there. Jalen Walker's a guy that looks really good coming out of high school in North Carolina. So could he work his way in? So it's I mean, not that I gave any great information there, but it's going to be a competition that's going to be, because they like rolling those guys in and out anyway. So it's going to be, if say one guy, you don't play every single snap, you're at inside linebacker. So it's going to be on those guys to kind of, make the most of their chances when they get in there.
Yeah, I'm curious what the rotation will be. That's probably, I guess, looking ahead, the one position that we can look at and say, I don't know. Offensive line's pretty much set. You've got a couple pieces there that you've got to figure out, but for the most part, offensive line set. Wide receiver set as long as you're healthy. Running backs, you're set. Branson Robinson could be an addition to that running back room.
You could start, like we've talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying, though, they're set there. Quarterbacks.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Your third guy right now, or fourth guy right now. I mean,
yeah, you're set with Stetson at quarterback. Your tight ends are best in the country. So there's your offensive side of the ball. Mm-hmm. Your D-line, you got a couple holes that you have to fill, but you have Jalen Carter, and then you just put big bodies around him and let them go to work. Outside linebacker, Robert Beal and Nolan Smith. Robert Beal's like a 17th year senior. So, I mean, you're set there. Then you go to cornerbacks. You've got Ringo. It's probably going to be Kamari Lassiter at the other corner position. Your safeties are back, whether it be Dan Jackson, Chris Smith, Will Poole, or Tyke Smith. But the one position that probably we'll have to watch the most is that inside linebacker. And it's been such a huge position for Georgia. Roquan Smith, Nakobe Dean, Tay Crowder, Monty Rice. I mean, the list goes on, that whoever's going to step up is more than likely going to be, the best option. And you've got a lot to pick from right there. It's just, I think this is the first time where, Glenn Schumann's going to have to replace both of them. And,
three really.
Yeah, three. Yeah, you had Walker too. Yeah. So it's just going to be interesting to see. Scott Anderson says, don't sleep on Starks. I agree.
Yeah,
Scott.
no, I'm with you. I'm with you there, Scott. I think he's a young, talented guy who I'm interested just to see how his skill set in the back end translate at the college level.
Look at this, man.
Oh, my goodness. What's up, Dayne?
What's up, guys? I was doing the thing. Paul had messaged me apparently an hour ago, and I was doing the thing of how long can I ignore this before I don't think that he's going to say, yeah, come on anyway. And so then I just texted him, I didn't see it. And then he's like, yeah, come on. I'm like, well, dang it. I should have waited another 10 minutes.
well, while you're here, I think we have Darris Sr. finally. Darris, you there?
All right.
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's going on, Mr. Smith? How's it going?
Good to see you.
Too much sitting here looking at y'all.
That's a terrible Sunday night, my friend. Yeah.
I think it's a great Sunday night. Get these guys out of here. We look good.
Oh, the confidence.
So how's Darris doing? Is he back in Athens? What's kind of the next month look like for him?
Yes, he's back in Athens. He's been up there since May the 31st. He came home probably for the 4th of July weekend for about 2 days. Then we took him back. But I talked to him today. He said everything's going good, and he's getting the playbook down now.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing. I mean, so you dropped him off. What was he, 6'6", 225 when you dropped him off in Athens? Is he still that, or they already put some weight on him, or what's he looking like?
No, right now he's like 6'6", 235, I think.
Already, wow.
Yeah.
So in 6 weeks, he's already gained 10 pounds, huh?
Yeah, if not more, because he had to go to the dentist to have some of his teeth removed. Yeah. So he's actually been on a liquid diet and gained 10 pounds.
A heck of a weight program at Georgia.
If I'm on a liquid diet and I gain 10 pounds, it's because I had a weekend where I drank a lot of beer or something.
That's usually my liquid diet. Yeah.
But so he's from a small school. Obviously, you guys are from Baxley, Georgia. What's kind of been his whole approach to this now that he's in there? He's got these 5-star guys there with him. I mean, he's a 4-star himself. I mean, he's a beast himself. What's his take on his freshman year? What's he looking forward to the most, I guess? And just for folks that don't have a kid that are in college athletics, especially during this time, what's it like for you kind of watching this from the outside in? You've been coaching him and probably watching him grow up this whole time. What's it like for you as well?
I mean, it's very exciting to see him going up against better competition. That's something I want to see.
Yeah.
And he's taking it all in. Like, he always tell me, he want to stay in the weight room. He want to stay in the film room. He on the weekends, he said he jogs to the field and run through the plays on his own in his head. And he just working, trying to put in the work. He know he gonna have to work. Iron sharpens iron. That's why you want to go to a school like the University of Georgia. You want to go against the best.
You kind of took my next question out of my mouth. Go ahead, Jason. I was going to ask why he picked Georgia, and there you go. Iron sharpens iron. So go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, I was going to ask who of the upperclassmen who's really taken to him and really taken him under his wing so far.
I think he pretty much stays pays attention to Nolan and Bill and the guys, Chaz Chambers, the guys that play his position. He pretty much watches them and stay up under them learning.
So, Mr. Smith, I got a question for you. As a parent, what does a recruiting pitch from Kirby Smart and Will Muschamp, those guys, what does that sound like towards you as a parent, from them saying, "Hey, we're the ones to take care of your son for the next 3 or 4 years"?
I mean, from what I've seen, I have another son that's going to the 11th grade, and so he's kind of going through it a little bit, the process a little bit now. For what I've seen, nothing compares to Georgia, and I'm not calling out no schools by name or nothing like that, but I haven't seen nothing compared to what Georgia has going on up there. So they really didn't have to say too much to me. They really didn't have to say too much to Darris, because once Darris knew they was on his radar, he was committed, and he shut down his whole Instagram. That was in his 11th grade year. He shut everything down.
Yeah, I mean,
tell him to keep it shut down. It's not going to help him to keep that going on. Just shut it all the social media down.
Yeah, he wasn't looking for no attention or none of that. Once he got his school, he was done. It was over with.
And that's why I think Jet. I don't know if you heard Jet earlier. I don't know if Darris Jr. has paid Jed. I don't know what's happened. Jed is on the Darris Smith hype train, okay? And not saying it's a bad thing. I'm there with him.
Jed, that's not how NIL works, buddy. You got to get the system right.
Yeah, you got to turn the system around, Jed. You got to pay him. But no, he committed back December 2020, and then nobody talked about him because obviously he wasn't a big story. He wasn't a fight for Georgia. And then you see, I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, it was like a playoff game where he was lined up on kickoff, and he's lined up next to the other kids on his team, and he is a whole foot taller than them. Do you remember that, Mr. Darris? Like that
yes,
picture?
Sir. Yes, sir.
And that's where everybody was like, oh, man, Darris Smith. Remember that kid? Yeah, he can. Oh, my God, that's him? Like that was when it kind of came back full circle, like, oh, Darris Smith might be a problem. He's a South Georgia boy. Like, he's not talked about often. Like you said, he shut down his Instagram, and here he is, 6'6", 235 on a liquid diet.
Yeah.
Putting in work.
I thought that was weird in high school. Like for him to play defensive end, he was the fastest kid on our football team. I thought that was weird. Like,
well, that's the thing. When I went down there to watch him play, I had never seen him before or interviewed him. So you go down there and you're kind of looking around like, all right, which one's Darris? He wears number 9, I think. And then you see the kid, like you said, oh, he's a foot taller. He's jacked. He runs fastest. He lifts them up. Like, you're like, oh yeah, that's probably the kid that's committed to the number 3 team in the country or whatever at the time. So I'm telling y'all, just mark this down in a year and a half, and just we'll come back to this UGA Sports Live, and I'm telling y'all, Darris Smith is going to be that dude in Athens. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah,
Mr.
I think
Smith,
when
oh, go ahead.
I think when people find out how fast he is, it's going to be something special.
We've got a question from Nick Purifoy. He said, Mr. Smith, did you play any collegiate ball yourself anywhere?
No, sir, I did not.
Are you 6'6", or is Darris just a freak of nature?
He's a freak of nature.
Darris Senior's like, I'm 5'7", 180 pounds. I don't know where this kid came from. But
no, I ain't that small. I'm not that small now. I'm not that. I'm maybe like I'm probably like 6'1", maybe 220 right now.
Is your family originally from Baxley? How did you guys end up there?
Yes, sir. We were all born and raised in Baxley. I have 9 brothers and 1 sister, so I got a pretty big family.
Jeez.
So y'all can fill up the stadium down there. I asked because I'm from East Dublin, so like in the super small rural Georgia towns, when you have a Darris that comes in and shows out in Baxley and gets to UGA, it's a big deal for that city, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, for the people who are into sports, it is. It's just where I come from. Like this town it's a 3 red light town.
and you go to the grocery store and everybody's asking how he's doing, probably, right? They're like, what's he looking like? Yeah. How's he doing?
Yeah, me and my wife, we rarely leave out the house because people just question you so much you get tired of it.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time with us, Mr. Smith, to come on here and kind of give us a in-depth look into all kind of the backstory. We'd love to have you on once summer camp starts and Darris gets moving and kind of, talk to us again about how he's doing then once the 100-degree and 70% humidity hit to him. See if he's still at that 235 or if he's going to shed some of that water weight off or not. But I
think he'll get up to probably about 245 before the season starts.
Is that where they want him at? 245?
When he first got recruited, there was like 235. They wanted him at 235, but I think that was coming in.
Yeah. Okay. So
I would imagine probably like 240, 245 playing the outside linebacker spot would be pretty good for him.
Yeah, I'd say that would do just fine.
With that kind of speed, it's going to be electric. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's weird because like he put on 10 pounds and you can't really tell.
So he puts on another 10 and he's just going to keep continuing to look like a freak. He's going to look like Quay Walker did at the G-Day last year, and everybody was like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
Darris sitting on the sidelines. What number did he end up picking out?
He wound up with 19.
19. Okay. I like it. Well, Mr. Darris, we're not going to take up too much of your time. We sure do appreciate you calling in, though, and giving us a little backstory on him. I know everybody watching appreciates it as well. So,
no problem, guys. I watch all every show. I watch. So,
God,
no problem.
I feel bad for you, man.
He ain't lying. We see him on UGA Sports Live all the time, and we love the interaction. And I think
you guys don't get
him
on your
community
show,
in the chat. Yeah,
you guys don't get him on your show, though. I wonder why.
Oh, is it me? Is that what you're saying, Paul?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Hey,
okay.
Mr. Smith, we'll holler at you later on.
Appreciate you.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Marlon Green says, "Go Dogs." So
is that the number one guest in show history, or is it still Carson Beck's grandmother?
I don't want to play favorites, man.
I don't want to play favorites.
They're tied for one.
Fred F says, "Great interview." I think because
Darris is bigger, so if we got in a fight, Darris has got a better. Like they both.
Here's the thing, though.
Darris would really beat me. So I'll say that.
Mr. Smith.
How about the threat of violence? What the hell, man?
We had to.
What I'm asking, Jason, is if you got in a fight with Carson Beck's grandmother, what do you think is going to happen?
Where are we doing?
I'm not entertaining this hypothetical.
Why not? I thought that's what this show was about.
Why are we fighting Carson Beck's grandmother?
Apparently, because he's the backup quarterback.
Ben, actually, she might have an issue with Ben. Ben, what did Ben say last week or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Who doesn't, though, right? He's got all these.
So I would say, Dayne, to rank them, I would say Carson Beck's grandma's first because it was completely out of the blue. But Mr. Smith gave us some good insight there as well. He's also he watches our stuff, though. She was completely out of the blue, just popped into the studio here as an older lady. And I was like, what is she doing here? I put her on and I was like, hello. She's like, hey, I'm Carson Beck's grandma. Let's talk football. And I was
did y'all see how quick Paul, who's a little rough around the edges for the show, trying to make it whatever on Sundays, he's like, oh, hello, Mr. Smith. Thank you for joining the show. That was fantastic. Very professional of you.
Sometimes you have to switch gears, Dayne. Sometimes you have to switch the gears.
I ain't hating. You saw me be like, hey, I'm from South Georgia too. Talk to me.
Yeah. Let's see. Nip says, how about them dogs? Salute the channels. I don't know what that means, Nip.
Sounds cool.
I don't know what that means. But yeah, salute the channels for sure. Let's see here. Jeff Hightop says Justice is committing next Sunday. Get ready for another crazy weekend with bowls on Saturday. Is Justice committing next Sunday?
So I actually talked to Justice today. He didn't mention anything about it. I can check back in with him, but yeah, we'll see.
The scoop from old Jeff Hightop here.
Yeah, Hightop's putting you on the scoop, Jeff.
Yeah,
saying Justice is committing next Sunday.
My job is always up for grabs, so.
Dayne, anything on? Go ahead, Jed.
I was going to say Roddy's DMs are probably open on the board. If you want to hit him up on application, whatever.
I can tell you one person who's not going to take your job, and that's Ben Choppy Bachman, folks. If you didn't join us at the beginning of the show, Ben decided last night to go out and get drunk. Okay, cool, whatever.
What are you doing?
But we are now 19 hours later, and he's still hungover, couldn't make the show, so I had to call Jed. Jed came on. I had to DM Dayne. Dayne came on. So I can tell you who's not taking your job, Jed, is Ben Choppy Bachman. Prayer, T's and P's, guys, in the chat. Can we get some T's and P's, thoughts and prayers for Ben Choppy Bachman as he overcomes this 19-hour hangover that he endured last night? So
we need to find out what he drank, though, because I want to avoid that if it causes 19 hours. I handle my alcohol well, but I don't know. That's
Ben's he's the young one, though. He's 22. He's probably still drinking Evan Williams and
I'll just say
Natty Light. I'm sure, or Natty Bo because he's up in Baltimore. That's what they drink.
He can't come to New Orleans, right? That's we can't.
No,
be doing that.
He's not.
We almost lost Paul in Vegas. We can't be losing.
I think it's Paul's grandmother's birthday or something like that.
Yeah. We almost lost Paul in Vegas just to dehydration.
We did.
I heard about that.
We did.
It was
Marlon's throwing up the T's and P's for Ben, man. We appreciate it.
Marlon.
Fred F's throwing up the T's and P's. Brett, T's and P's for Ben. We appreciate it. Salute to the channel. He means us. Cool. He said, I'm CJ Allen's dad. Well, come on the show.
This is great.
Come on the show. Let's do it, man.
Everybody, yeah.
Why are we getting better recruiting interviews on this than we've ever gotten on a Rumors versus Facts before?
I don't know. I don't know, Jed. I don't know. Why is that?
Why is that? Man, listen, you come back.
Hey,
See,
Nip,
here's the thing.
come on the show, bro. Come on the show. Let's get a little interview going with you. We'll talk about CJ Allen, and then we'll jump off this thing. But go ahead. If you're looking at it, click the link in the description. And all you haters out there, don't try to log in and say your Nip, okay? I can see. Like, it goes with your YouTube, so don't play like that. But Nip, go ahead and log on. You can do like Mr. Smith did. You don't have to have video unless you want to.
Mr.
Show
Smith.
some drinking on. But go ahead and call in, and we can talk about CJ a little bit.
Is Hawaii in the ACC yet? I haven't been paying attention today.
Maybe. It's possible at this point.
Nick says, seeing all these awesome players' parents on here, it has me wondering who's the most famous person ever on the dog vent or the vault.
Jeff Foxworthy's on it. I know that.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's true.
Foxworthy, Kevin Kisner's on the dog vent.
There's this guy named Dayne Young. That's
Yeah,
He's big.
I'm sure there are a ton of former Bulldogs that are still on the dog vent or have got a dog vent membership. Nick, Kisner and Foxworthy are the first two that come to my mind. But I mean, like you said, if we were to run through, I'm sure like Benjamin Watson probably has one. Maria Taylor might. I don't know. Like I don't know who the most famous one would be, but
I wouldn't be surprised if like Champ Bailey even had one, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Champ might have one.
I mean, I talked to him a couple of years ago. He's still very clued into what's going on with Georgia, and he seemed to know. Yeah, I mean, he's a very, very down to earth guy. So
Nip says he's got bad internet connection. We'll give you that, Nip. Next week, though. Oh, next week we're going to be in New Orleans. Week after that.
Yeah.
2 weeks from now. Get your internet going. Darris Sr. giving Nip the fist bump. Look at that love from the parents there, man.
We're not doing a show in New Orleans? Oh, we got to do something live in New Orleans for people.
We're gonna be on the plane. We fly back.
We're going to be on the airport. Yeah, we're going to be in the plane.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to
Fred
pop
F.
up for 30 minutes on a
We'll just chat. We can do the Wi-Fi on Delta and just do a chat.
Yeah, it wouldn't be awkward at all for people sitting around us. Fred F says, please pick it back up the conversation about O-line recruiting for 2023. That was great last Sunday. Fred, I wanted to end the show on a high note. I didn't really want to go down that road.
That's why
but if you want to, we can. Right now, O-line recruiting, Jed.
What is that?
That's the Windhorse thing, right?
What is that?
Yes, the Windhorse. Yeah.
So you have Bo Hughley for now. I don't know, guys. I just have a gut feeling Bo Hughley ends up flipping to Auburn. I haven't heard that. I got a weird feeling. And before anyone knocks my gut feelings, I don't know. Louisville's right there with Madden Sanker. I had a weird feeling about him in Louisville a long time ago. So I don't know. I just got a gut feeling about Bo Hughley. So say you lose him and your line class is, I guess you wouldn't be down to 0 because you got Joshua Miller. So you got Joshua Miller who flipped from Penn State. You got Kelton Smith. Georgia sits in a good spot with him. He's committing, I think, a week from Tuesday. I think it's either the 19th or the 21st. So say you land those two guys. After that, it's really up in the air because you got TJ Shanahan, 5-star. Georgia's in a good spot with him. Texas A&M is charged now. Samson Okunlola, he's got like 8 teams involved. He came on a multi-day unofficial to Georgia. He's a hard guy to read. I don't think Georgia ends up with him. I don't know what his commitment timeline is. So Georgia have to get him back on campus, I would say, to make a serious charge with him. Monroe Freeling, Georgia Notre Dame. He's a hard guy to read. He does have a relationship with serials dating back to North Carolina. Olaus Salinen from Finland. I think he's leaning towards Alabama.
Did you say from Finland?
Originally from Finland, yeah.
He's like in Massachusetts right now, right?
Okay. Yeah, okay. I thought
his
you
dad,
said.
And the thing is weird because his dad played for the Falcons for a couple years, but it seems like Alabama, Miami, they've been on him a lot longer. And I think that longer time love, I guess, resonates with him a little more.
Jed, I've been doing this a little bit longer than you, not the recruiting specifically, but just media coverage. So I'm going to give you a little secret here. When you hear Finland is in his background, the first thing you do is you go to Roddy and you say, I got to go see where he grew up and be able to tell that story. And you cannot do that from Massachusetts. So you need to be making that happen. And if you need someone to come with you, obviously with the experience I'm talking about. Yeah.
So I want to go to.
Yeah, offensive. I mean, it's so fluid. Like you just don't know who Georgia's because it doesn't seem like. I think Georgia leads for Kelton Smith, but outside of that, I wouldn't say they really lead for anyone. Maybe they have a slight lead for Monroe Freeling, but even then, that's 3 guys, and you don't know if there's a guy that's gonna emerge out of nowhere. Like there hasn't really been that kind of guy from a camp that at least that we've heard about in June. I could obviously try to flip someone. But yeah, O-line recruiting is really up in the air right now, and I just don't really know. Now, if you keep Bo Hughley, that would obviously be huge because then you get him, Miller, and Kelton Smith would be solid. If you add Monroe Freeling into that, then you've got 2 rivals, 250 rivals, 175, whatever guys. That seems like a good class. But if you lose Hughley and you lose out on Freeling, like there's a best case scenario and there's a worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is you lose on Hughley and you lose on Monroe Freeling, and then you're just kind of like, where do they go from there? So there's a lot of ways O-line recruiting could go. I feel. The thing is, so having been in this job a year now, last June when everyone was freaking out about recruiting, I was like, oh gosh, like how's this Georgia class going to end up? And then obviously it ended up being what it was. So now when you see it on the board, it's kind of like, okay, like it usually gets sorted out. But
they also had Matt Luke at
so there's some I wouldn't necessarily say like concern, but there's definitely some maybe questions going on with how the offensive line class is going to shake out at the moment.
That's all we got to talk about. That's all we got to say about it.
But I want to ask you this real quick. Do you think this coaching staff has earned the benefit of the doubt based on recent history when it comes to why the O-line class isn't where maybe people would expect it to be at this time?
Well, the thing is, like, okay, the coaching staff as a whole, sure, but when you look at Stacy Searles, like,
sure,
okay, how does that kind of? And then the thing is, people think Stacy Searles is just some sort of like ogre that everyone hates. There are guys that like it. Cam Pringle, 24 guy, a 4-star guy. Cam Pringle loves him. He loves Stacy Searles. He loves his wife. They're both always hanging out on officials. Cam Pringle loves him, and Cam Pringle looks to be one of the top targets for 24. But I don't know. It's like one of those things with any new. It's an interesting hire because you look at what Kirby Smart has done with his staff hires. Jadari Uzodribe, young up and coming guy. Fran Brown, an up and coming kind of guy. Trey Scott at the time was an up and coming guy. And I think the difference, because a lot of people on the board make the comparison, right? Oh, well, you people were bashing Trey Scott back then, and look how he turned out. Trey Scott was an unproven-ish commodity at the time, right? Stacy Searles has been doing this for a long time. I think this is the other part of it. If it doesn't work out, and if Searles isn't recruiting up to Kirby Smart's standards and he doesn't see the potential, then he's not afraid to move on. He did that with Coley. He's not afraid to shake up the staff if he needs to. So, but yeah, long story short, it's going to be interesting to see how this 23 O-line class shakes out for sure.
Well, and in the context of like the current roster and depth at Georgia, there's only one senior on this entire offensive line, and it's Warren Erickson. And technically, I think he could have another year if he wanted to. I suspect this will probably be his last year with Georgia one way or the other. But that doesn't mean that Georgia's immune to the roster management stuff, either through the portal or I think you're going to see a lot of guys go pro. Broderick Jones could do it after this year. Cedric Van Pran could go after this year. Warren McClendon could do the same. So then all of a sudden you're looking at it and you're like, maybe Georgia has to replace like 4 starters on the offensive line next year. You never know. But, this is summer of 2022, and you're asking me the roster heading into 2023. Actually, no one asked me. I just started talking.
I just want to say, Jackson the Great says, Jed, dude, what the heck?
What the heck?
It's Jed's fault.
Is that your cousin or something like that?
I have a cousin named Jack. I don't think he's much of a YouTube guy, though. So
I don't know.
He did play baseball at Savannah State. If we want to.
This one looks like he's like 5, 7. So
could be his kid.
Could be his kid. Yeah.
I don't think my cousin has no, I don't think so.
Are you sure?
I feel like I would know. I think I would know. We're not
guys.
We're close enough to where I would know.
I haven't had dinner yet.
Pizza time, right?
It's mac and cheese and broccoli time. I had pizza for lunch today.
How do you cook your broccoli?
Steam it. and then put a little bit of salt, pepper, and butter, and then big helping of Hidden Valley Ranch on the side to go with said broccoli. No cheese, please.
We got that for the mac and cheese.
Yeah, we've got that for the mac and cheese.
No cheese that doesn't touch the broccoli, though.
Does not. No, not at all.
Yeah.
I'm weird for a variety of reasons, but I want to know. Like, I think ranch is overrated. Is that a weird thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Hidden
Like,
Valley Ranch.
I never desire ranch. Like, if it's there, that's fine.
Not even with chicken wings. Do you not eat chicken wings?
I mean, but like, if it's got a good sauce on it already, I don't need to dip it into another sauce. I'll do it on occasion. It's fine. But like, if the waiter forgot to bring me the ranch, I'm not going to send it back or be.
Are you a blue cheese guy, Dave?
Not at all. I don't like blue cheese.
Okay.
Blue cheese.
Like,
Jed,
I always tell them to bring
Jed,
me
are
the
you a blue
ranch,
cheese
but
guy?
I barely use it.
No, big wings guy, not a blue cheese guy.
You're a ranch guy though with the wings, right?
I'm not really either, honestly.
Wow.
Like Dane said, it's good sauce.
Thank you, Dad.
It's a good
Dude,
sauce
if I'm
on
eating
it,
wings,
I'm good.
if I'm eating wings, it's gonna have the buffalo sauce on it and then a coating of the ranch on top of it.
No.
It's gonna be like a buffalo ranch.
Can we
That's
all
what it's
agree?
got.
Flats
Buffalo or
over
lemon
drums,
pepper,
though?
just straight up.
Yeah, definitely flats over drums. I can like, well, that was gonna make a soundboard. But just stop there. But yeah, flats
That's
over
when your
drums.
filter comes in.
Flats over drums.
Now-
D-Rock Irish says Caleb Downs update. I'm going to leave that for the guys on rumors versus facts. Let them take that question. Those guys will be on tomorrow night. His name's Jed May. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but he's been on our show this whole time. So he's going to be doing double duty. And then Dayne's going to be doing double duty with Roddy and Coach Donnan on Tuesday at noon with the UGA Sports Live. We will not be with you guys next week, unfortunately, because we are heading to New Orleans as a UGA sports group, but I'm sure we'll post some stuff and have some cool content for you guys while we're there. And just pray for us to get back safe. Or all four of us are going, plus Dash, Patrick, Dave, and Roddy.
Dash isn't going.
Dash isn't going?
He is not. He told me to he's not going.
So Patrick and Dave are still going.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick will be enough by himself.
Yeah. Patrick is Patrick is a character. You get him out in the town. Just letting you know.
I don't know. I've never gone out with Patrick before. I've gone fishing with Patrick. He's a fun dude doing that. But, all right,
I don't know the rooming situation, but if Vegas is any indication, I'm the most tame person at UGA Sports, and maybe it's because I'm a dad of two. I don't know.
Is Brent not going?
I don't believe so. What does that even mean?
You fellow kid.
I don't know. I also got a special guest tomorrow with Dayne and Brent Rollins. I just got that text from Brent Rollins. So special guest with those guys. I didn't even know they're doing a show tomorrow. Just got a special, got a text on that.
This is a special interview. That'll be one that we will reveal later. In fact, Brent and I are going to hop on this stream deal for a recording in like 20 minutes for our top returning Bulldog series. So I get to just glow over Ladd McConkey for something that's going to air later this
How many
week.
more do you have in that series, Dayne?
Man, we've hit top 10. It's been like 3 months, and now we're in the top 10.
Who's number one?
I'm pretty sure it's Bowers, but that's not really a spoiler.
We gotta keep the content coming for the people.
My bad.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want me to come on this show and reveal it? Oh, whoops! I just did. Thanks, Paul.
Fred says, well-deserved break. Thank you, guys. JR says, good show, guys. Time to get back to watching Bridge over River Kwai. What is that?
I think it's a movie.
Is it?
Let's go.
Well, have fun, JR. Guys, we appreciate it so much for Dayne Young, Jed May, Jason Butt. I'm Paul Maharry. Guys, if you could, before you leave, real quick, don't leave. Hit the like button on this video and share it with your friends if you can.
Yo, that's a movie from 1957.
Nice. That's awesome.
2 hours and 41 minutes, and you're starting it now? Oh, go back to watching. That's
my type of people, man. 9 o'clock,
wow.
3-hour movie. You're ready to go.
They don't make movies like that anymore.
I make it like that.
That sounds like a classic.
I don't know.
Check it out.
JR might be that guy.
Yeah,
I think that's old enough that the time has passed or the copyright would have expired, and we could literally do a watch along for that movie as it played.
Ooh. I wouldn't mind.
And that's what I volunteered y'all to do. I will not be on that episode.
I will not mind that. Brett says great movie. So if Brett says it, I have to listen. So guys, we appreciate it so much. Make sure you hit that like button. We'll have the podcast up for you guys. So your early Monday morning drive back to crazy workplace, you can listen to it. If you're working from home, you can also listen to it. And if you're doing literally anything, you can listen to that podcast. So Jason, any final words from you? You're looking like a white Tiger Woods down there, looking great.
I wish my Scottish Open bets would have done better. My Tiger retired brought me zero luck. He brought me Tiger luck at the Masters and wherever else he was this year, where his leg is about to fall off. He's supposed to play the next week, right? He's supposed to return to the British Open. So we'll see.
Are you still driving over the state border to place your bets and coming back?
So today, you were late. Brandon Sudge came into town, and we actually went to the casino in Baltimore. So we were in person today. Yeah,
old school
IP action.
Yeah, in person. Maryland is strange, man. Maryland, you have the in person, but the mobile's not ready yet. So we'll see.
Hey, Louisiana's wide open, so we're good to go.
Ooh. Yeah, I know. I'm excited about that, man. I'll be so much money. It's gonna be great.
That's in Bennett Futures, everybody. We'll let you know how that goes. We appreciate it so much. Hit that like button on the video. We'll talk to you guys in 2 weeks. See ya.